Hello, everyone, and we should be live. So, as I'm waiting to see if my co host is on, I always like to start off with the basic question: what are you reading today? Let's see. Okay, Dylan's here yet. This will be, I think, her first live, so hopefully there are no hiccups, but we'll get this rolling in a moment. Let's see. Hello there, Blanca. How are you? See some people chiming in. Aha, here we go. Let's see. She figures out my invite. Hello!
Hi. Did I do it right?
You did it right. We're here. Okay, well, welcome to the live chat. Is this you said it might be your first live or one of your first lives?
Yes, I tried to go live by myself once for like 2 minutes and it felt really weird. So I like clicked off of it. I was like, I think it would flow better if I had somebody to talk to.
Oh yes, oh yes. No, that's why I love doing these kind of mutual chats because yeah, it's kind of weird just talking to the screen. And I know you can get engagement, but that's very different.
Yeah,
Okay,
I feel like if you have more viewers, I feel like it helps. Like
oh
if
yeah,
you have like more people that follow you, because then you get more interaction.
yeah, and I think it's what I've been learning because I'm always learning how to do these things. The more people engage, the more the algorithm pushes your video. So hopefully we get a lot of engagement. We'll find out. But welcome, and I'm
Fingers
sorry my
crossed.
voice is a little scratchy. Found out this morning that I have COVID, so I'm dosed up with
Oh,
medicine and I am here.
oh no, I hope you feel better. That's terrible. We had it back in December, but it was not fun at all.
No, but I'm gonna push through it. But no, I'm so excited that we're getting to talk today. And what I like to always do is because how it's been explained to me, people will chime in on your end, my end. If we have mutual followers, they'll see, I think the mutual chat. But what I like to do is you introduce yourself, your writing, and I'll do that, my little pitch, the next, and then we'll go from there and just talk about wherever or whatever, we feel.
Okay.
Thank you. And
All right.
also at any point you see any questions come up on your end, feel free to pause and, read them aloud and answer them because again, sometimes you'll see things that I can't see and I'll try to do the same on my end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, this is all like new to me, so I didn't know that you could see things that we
Yeah.
could both see things. Oh, my cousin says hello.
Well, hello there. And so I'll let you begin.
Okay.
So tell everybody who you are and what you write.
Okay, well, I'm Regina Brownell, and actually, my debut rom-com just came out today called The Two-Week Promise. That's mainly the genre I write in. I write like rom-coms and contemporary romances. I did dabble in YA for a little bit over on Wattpad, and I have like two books over on that website, which have like an okay amount of views and reads and stuff. But I decided to go in the adult trend because I figured it was a little bit more fun and exciting to
Yeah.
write an adult romance rather than a YA. I did start like back in the day doing, like the fan fiction that everybody does. Like Twilight was big for me, so like I was into fantasy for a while, but like contemporary just kind of sat with me, so I just went with it.
I love it. I love it. So tell us a little bit about your debut book. You said it released today, so congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, the two-week promise is I actually wrote it about a year and a half ago. I was in the middle of I just started reading like the Christina Lauren books and that kind of genre. And I don't know, for some reason like I had this dream of like a girl just like waking up in like a hotel room very confused, like where is she? And she looks over and she sees a guy that she knows, but she's like, wait a minute, why am I here with you? So that's kind of how it's my whole thought process started with this book. And so basically, it's a best friend's brother romance. They're at the best friend's wedding, and they reconnect because he left for a couple of years because his father passed away, and he kind of just like left everybody and to deal with his own emotions and trauma. So then he comes back for the wedding, and they reconnect, and because they've been friends because the best friend they've been friends for a while too themselves, So they just kind of reconnect, and things happen at the night of the wedding. And she wakes up next to him, and they decide, well, he's like, well, why don't we do this for 2 weeks? Why don't we just have this fling for 2 weeks while my sister's on her honeymoon, and we'll just take, and then when it's done, it's done, it's over, and no feelings, no strings. And she's like, I really, she thinks back all the years ago, how much she really liked him. And she's like, what, let's do this. This will be fun. So she ends up doing it for the 2 weeks, but of course they end up falling for each other, but he's not a relationship type of guy, so things kind of get a little rocky towards the end. But as always in a romance, it's a happily ever after. So
That it kind of gives me that no strings attached. I don't know if that's even a subgenre, but that kind of vibe where it's you're trying not to be attached, but it happens anyway.
yeah, it happens. Yeah, and I think she was attached far before the 2 weeks started. So
Yeah. So, as you're a debut author now, where can people find your book? Are you an Amazon exclusive? Are you wide? Where can people find your new book? Because it's out now.
yeah. Right now, it is basically at Amazon. There's a Kindle Unlimited, there's a paperback, and Barnes and Nobles has a Nook version of it.
Okay.
And there's also like a couple of other, like like the international book chains that I've a couple of people have seen it on there too. Like I have a couple of people that live in Canada that I know, and they were like, "Oh, I found it on one of their big named bookstores." They were like, "I found it on their website too." So it's definitely out there, but Amazon is like the main source of where you'll find it.
I love it. Yeah, I'm an Amazon exclusive currently, so I always love talking to people who have books
Okay.
different places, and I'm curious how it goes for
Yeah.
you. So this is exciting. But for anybody who's
Yeah.
tuning in and doesn't know me, Katharine Wibell. I'm an author of various high fantasy books. I'll kind of keep this brief as possible because some of you probably have heard this every week. But going through the age range, I have a pair of young adult portal fantasy, sometimes qualified as noble bright. So it's the big, whimsical, overall positive fantasy sweeping tales, a little more akin to Lord of the Rings style writing. So that one's a lot of fun. And again, those are young adults. There are two out now. The third one will be released hopefully before the end of the year. We will see. My debut series is for new adults. It's a little grittier. It's a war shifter fantasy. There are 4 books, and it's my only complete series. It's set in a kingdom where both the human race and the shape-shifting race called Therimorphs have to decide if they can push aside their differences and unite to defend their kingdom against a greater threat. And then my final series is actually in novella form, so they're short, quick reads. They're for adults. They tend to be very dark fantasy, kind of listing into the grim dark side. And they are a Viking fantasy, so in and around Norse mythology. You're going to see all 9 realms and around Yggdrasil, the World Tree. You're going to glimpse the Loki and Thor and all that kind of fun stuff near the end, but I'm actually going to start you off with some very obscure Nordic myth from the get-go. But those are my 3 series at the moment, and yeah, so that's what I write.
That's awesome. Like I like commend you for writing like fantasy. Like I always wanted to, like I always try, I always get there, and then I can't, like the world building is very hard for me, I feel like, to
Yeah.
like build all of that. Like so like I just that's amazing, like that you have all those fantasy books, because like I've tried and I don't know. Contemporary just works better, I guess, because I'm like afraid to like be like, okay, I'm gonna make up this character, and then people are gonna be like, you can't do that.
No, I think
So like I get scared of fantasy.
well, I mean, you're writing a fiction work too, so you make
Yeah.
up characters. It's just a different style. I mean, yours being based in the real world gives you that already foundation set, which is nice. Fantasy, you can create your own foundation, like the kind of
Yeah.
epic and high fantasy writers, kind of like myself, but then you have to remember to keep true to the rules you set, or else people are going
Yeah.
to call you
I
out.
think that was like my I think that's what scared me the most is I'm pantser, so like usually when I'm going through, like I'll write jot down all the information as I go, as I'm writing. So like I don't know the world yet, so that's why I think fantasy kind of scares me a little.
I gotcha. So,
I've done like novellas, like on Wattpad or like a short fantasy story, but I haven't branched out to do, anything larger than a novella.
hey, no, that's totally fine. I mean, I was kind of the opposite. I write big hefty books, and actually I have one of my narrators, because I'm converting all 3 series into audio right now, and she's doing one of my bigger hefty books, so she knows how large they can get. But challenging myself for the novellas, that was kind of a fun thing, trying to see, can I write a succinct story in a far shorter format
Yeah,
than my uh, thick babies
yeah.
up
I
above.
love novellas. They're so much fun.
But yeah, like I never, up until recently, I don't know, whatever, a couple years ago that I started those projects, I never really thought about them. I never read them. So I'll admit, I just like dove into it because I wanted to challenge myself on shorter stories, but I cannot. Short
Yeah.
stories are so hard for me. It's because I'm wordy. I like to talk
You're
in
the opposite
general, and I
of
like
that.
to talk in my writing. So let me ask you, do you have a picture of your new cover? I know if it just released,
I
it's
actually
sometimes,
have
oh,
my book. It's backwards. I have my book.
yay!
This is
Oh, that's cute. I like it.
and it's so nice too. Like they did a really nice job. Like it's smooth and soft. And I was like, when I got it, I was like, this feels so smooth.
That's fantastic.
But yeah.
So you were saying this is the first full length, correct? That you wrote?
Um, well, it's my first book that like actually, well, I guess more like went somewhere. Like I did a lot of like more, I did the YAs over on like Wattpad, so I never have actually had a physical book in my hand. So,
Oh, I love that. That's great.
so this is
Okay.
nice.
Well, tell me a little bit about Wattpad, because I've heard about it. I kind of know the concept, and some people may not know about it. So tell me a little bit more about the
Yeah.
process of being a Wattpad author. Do you know of Kindle Villa? Is it similar? I think it is, but I don't know. Again.
Well, I'm on the free side of it. There are a lot of authors. I have some friends who are involved with the paid side of Wattpad as well. It's kind of hard to get into that part of it. I think you have to have a certain amount of I guess either like interaction with your readers, and there's like so many steps to get to that. I'm on the free side where I do a lot of their contests. Like they have an open novella contest, which is really
Oh,
cool, where they give you about 100 prompts in like different categories, and you have to pick one, and over the course of like 4 months you do like the first month you do an like 2,000 words, and then you hand it in, and then you move on to the next round if you qualify, and then the next month you do 8K words, and then the last one is 20K words. And I'm this year I actually made it all the way to the short list, which was it was actually kind of like a fantasy paranormal romance that I wrote for it. But like it's a really cool contest, and I think that's my favorite part about Wattpad is all the mini contests that they have throughout the year, and like a lot of the ambassador profiles, which are just regular, like like just writers. Like I'm also an ambassador there too, but they have like a lot of them run these profiles, and they do mini contests like short stories, flash fiction, and it's just
oh,
like I feel like it's a lot of fun, and it really helps to I don't know, like I feel like it helped to give me the skills that I have now. Like I feel like I use a lot of my short story knowledge to like make how I am now, like with my I don't know how to say it. Like,
I totally understand.
it's a good stepping stone. Maybe stepping stone is my word I'm looking for.
Well, and that's actually really interesting, because I've had some people ask me things on like how do I stay motivated to write these larger works, and it's hard for some people, especially if you've never completed a full book before. That's very intimidating to trying to, you know, maybe join one of these challenges where you only have to worry about, okay, let
Yeah.
me just perfect 2,000 words and see how that goes. And again, you're developing and working and creating your skill set. That's pretty cool. I like that. Did not know they did all that. See,
Yeah, I think that's my favorite part about Wattpad.
I love it. So how many stories have you written through that platform?
Well, I have a lot of short stories. There's probably maybe like 30 short or 40 short
Wow.
stories on there because did a lot of contests. I have two major ones. There was one's called The Summer I Met You, and it was actually that one has about like 16K reads around with that one. And I wrote that one a couple of years ago. It ended up getting one of a mentorship for that one. And that was just kind of like, I don't know, it wasn't that great of a one. But then I had a mentorship last year through Wattpad, and it's with a story I wrote about a young two young teens who one's a like he's in a band, he's a rock star, and the other girl's really popular, and they ended up doing a project together. It was like one of those type of YA books.
Hmm.
And I actually got a mentorship with that one, which is was pretty cool. Like my mentor was absolutely amazing, and I had so much fun working on that book with her. So like that's my latest one on there. I haven't done any like big books on there recently. I've just been mainly doing like the short stories. Like that, there's a couple of novellas on there and like a lot of short stories.
Hey, well, you've been putting out another book too, so you sound like you're juggling a lot right now. Anyways, which is really,
Yeah,
really cool. I mean, I understand about juggling things because I'm putting out two series simultaneously, and that's a lot. So, trying to do anything multitasking ish is kind of intimidating.
yeah,
So let me ask
yes,
you. Okay,
definitely.
I'm gonna come up with a question. Okay, let me ask you, what as a writer it would be your 5 year goal? Like where in 5 years would you want to be? Is it publishing a whole book series? Is it, reaching new audience? I mean, what would you want to where do you want to see yourself in the next few years
I mean,
as a
it
writer?
was kind of cool to like branch out into like not so much fantasy, but more of like I'm kind of interested in like paranormal romance. Like so it'd be cool to
Hmm.
kind of write like a little mini series with that, or just just keep going with the with the regular contemporary and maybe make one with like continue some some characters from this one. But like I don't know, I just want to keep writing. Like I don't really know what where I want to go. I mean, like I said, I want to try, I could try to I'd love to branch out or just continue on the path I am
Now,
because
since you're
it's been
talking about
really good so far.
Yeah. So since you've been talking about very different genres, contemporary romance to paranormal romance, I mean, that's still a jump. Would you want to be under the
Yeah,
same name or different pen names? Like, would you have a pen name just for your
I
PR,
would
paranormal
totally
romance?
do.
Sorry, what?
I mean, I might make a pen name if I ever did decide to go that route. Definitely. I don't. I've never really actually thought of that with the
No,
different pen
it's
names,
okay. These are the
but
questions that get things
no,
going.
it's a good question. Yeah.
Okay, I have some
No,
comments
yeah,
popping
definitely.
up. Just a moment. It says, I am writing my first book and I have a question. Go for it. At what point do I need to start finding A and B? Oh, alpha and beta readers. Did you use any? Let me ask. Have you used any alpha or beta readers during your process? And then I'll answer on my end in a moment.
Yes, actually, like a couple of years ago, like I had no idea what like beta readers are. Like back when I was, just like kind of, I wasn't really sure I wanted to be published, but I was just kind of writing like on Wattpad and stuff like that. And then to when they did I think it was Rev Pit on for Twitter, the mentorship program. I connected with a whole bunch of a couple of romance writers, and we've been each other's betas and CPs ever since then. And I think I have grown so much. I feel like if it wasn't for them, I feel like I never would have gotten as far as like they helped me so much. And like we do these things where every month we read someone's book and then we have a meeting and we all discuss that book and help the person to better, to make their book better. And we just all discuss it and it's so much fun. And it's definitely eye-opening. And I think beta and alpha readers are like a must.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree, and I'm with you too in the fact that I had not or I did not know those terms for a long, long time. And originally, when I started, I was working with a writing group, so we didn't really term ourselves betas or alphas. It was like we would work and edit ourselves for a while and then like read to each other and kind of help critique, which was very nice. now that I'm kind of taking this a little more professionally and trying to write at a quicker pace, I also moved back and forth for a while. So I was lost contact with that group, but started trying to utilize that aspect of a beta reader. I don't think I kind of got to the level of writing where I didn't feel like I needed an alpha reader. And as each independent writer, you can make that choice. You can say, no, I'm pretty comfortable with writing, or maybe you have a background in creative writing. You may not need that stage, but beta readers I always like to have no matter what, because different eyes on a project may catch something that a loophole or a misspelling that for whatever reason you skimmed over 1,002 times. So I usually get betas after. I would say I would go over my work about 3 or 4 times before I submit it to a beta, and then get my betas to like give me content, and then I move it over to an editor. So it's one stage at a time. And even still, something will always slip through. You can have 1,000 eyes on a project and something will slip through, but we try our best.
Yeah.
So highly encourage alphas and betas. Let's see. Oh, more comments. Ooh.
Yes,
Okay, hold on.
definitely.
One more comment. Let me see. Going down, curious. Okay. How do you embrace, let me see if I read this correctly. How do you embrace multiple genres and manage your social media? Guess that's, okay. Let me see. Let me answer this one first, and then I'll let you try to see, and I guess answer about it yourself. But for me, I mean, I keep all my genres currently under epic fantasy. So it's one of those things that I probably, looking back at it, could have branched off and had different pen names. But for me, right now, I just keeping my current author's name for anything that's epic fantasy. If I ever want to branch into maybe something a little more romance forward or sci-fi, then I might pick up a pen name. But that does make it tricky for me when I market, because I do have on the young adult kind of positive fantasy all the way to the dark nitty gritty. So it makes it marketing harder. So don't necessarily advise it, but that is what I've done, and I've dedicated myself for at least this epic fantasy bracket. And as for social media, my word of advice is do what I say, not as I do. Start with only 1 or 2 platforms, master them, then expand. Don't do what I did and then try to do all of them and then flounder for a long time until you finally figure them out. It can be overwhelming and time-consuming and stressful. So start small, work big when it comes to social media management. How about you?
I think that is actually a really good one, because I mean, I only did Instagram and TikTok, not Twitter for a while, and like those were kind of manageable, and like I was always afraid to come over here and try it out, but like it is hard definitely balancing all 3, because I feel like when you make content for TikTok, I feel like you really have to, like, it's a lot of work compared to some like Twitter. Like Twitter, you could just like type in whatever little thing that's on your mind, and it's right instantly. Like you don't have to really edit it and whatnot. And I feel like Instagram is a little more like TikTok, where you have to kind of spend a little extra time.
Oh yeah.
Creating your pictures and all that. Like I feel like the easiest one was definitely when I just had Twitter.
Well, it's kind of funny you say that, because I think Instagram right now is still the one that I cannot figure it out. I try so hard, but I can't figure it out.
Yeah.
Twitter, I only just started figuring out, but it was always a weak spot for me too. Facebook was a more stronghold. When I finally came here, this was actually, just easy. Once I got over that hump of I have to stare and put my face and voice.
Yes. Oh my God, it's so scary. It is so scary. That first video is so scary.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Well, it was pretty bad. I had no idea what to do for this platform, but figuring it out. We're going to say figuring it out. We always can challenge ourselves to get better. But the nice thing about when you finally get into your rhythm of platforms, and certain things do better on certain platforms, obviously, like you were mentioning, pictures on Insta, quick hit little lines, or engagement questions on Twitter, here's videos. But certain platforms like this one, you can always repurpose your videos on other platforms, which has become very nice for me, because it's like, oh, I'm just going to reshare this video that I did today on my other stuff.
I did that on Reels a couple times. I was like, I'm just gonna share it into Reels because I don't want to make anything new.
Yes, because yeah, no, it's and I know at least for this one, it takes a bit of time to develop, depending on your style of video, some of your videos and editing them here, and that's why I'm like, well, if I put all the time in, I might as well share it around. You never know, maybe it'll sync
Yeah,
with someone else on another platform.
yeah, yeah. See where it does best, right?
Yes, yes. You never know. You just keep trying things. Someone
I
else
know.
described it as, another author described it as throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. You just throw a bunch of things and just try.
That's what it feels like. It really does. Because you never know which social media page is actually going to pick something up.
Yeah, exactly. And, but yes, start small. Throw a lot of things.
Yes, very 100% start small. Yeah, don't overwhelm yourself because it's I think feel like for me it's still overwhelming to try and make sure I hit every social media account, especially like today. I was like, wait, did I post on Instagram about the book release? Did I post on Facebook? I'm like, wait, I don't remember.
Oh no, yeah, I will have to say, again, I kind of am tempting this whole full-time writer and artist thing, but
Yeah.
yeah, for a release day, even on my smaller releases, it'll take me a good portion of the day trying to go through and post on all the platforms, and then certain platforms like the
Yeah.
Twitter and this one, you want to do multiples and, do that again later on in the day. It takes time.
Yes.
So, what is your release strategy for your book
Oh
since
man.
you're in the middle of it?
I just kind of went I just went out there and just started, posting. Like I did a lot of like on here, I was doing for a while just random, either like singing like with the song in the background and me like singing to it with like the word, like some of the either the quotes from the book, or I was using like just just to describe the way the book was. I mean, there was a couple things that did okay. I think people really were they liked the pictures. The
Mm-hmm.
all the like the when you do the promo with the pictures where like the pictures move across the screen and you
Oh
have like the
yeah,
words on it where it tells you about the book. I feel like those did a lot better than a lot of the other ones. I even tried to do really bad dancing with like the thing and the scent, with all the words. I'm trying to convince you to buy my book while I'm doing bad dancing. So buy it because I'm doing bad dancing. So like it
yeah.
just kind of did like little funny things, but I mean, those didn't really pick up as well.
It's also hard because like
But
different times of day can play into effect, and the algorithm's always changing, and especially on here, you have to like catch the trendy music and everything. That helps. It's
yeah,
always difficult. But that's what we try.
yes,
We try things. I like that. I like that. And
yeah.
are
That's I
you,
was just yeah, just throwing things out there.
yeah, are you going to are you doing a longer term, I don't know how I'm going to word this. Since your release is today, how long are you going to promote the new book before it becomes a book? Does that make sense? Like, I will kind of push it for like, depending on the platform, probably about a good week
Yeah,
and say it's a new book, and then all of a sudden I'm promoting it as here's my book. But what about you? Did you think about that yet?
yeah. I feel like that would probably be a good time. Like I never even thought about that. Like how like not saying new book anymore or debut book. It's just going to be a book after a while. I actually have my Christmas book is coming out November 3rd. So I'm like, I'm gonna have to start promoting that in like a month. And I'm like, so it's gonna go from like one to another.
Wow, yeah. Yeah.
So like I guess this one's gonna have to kind of teeter off in the next week or two so I can start like coming up with now Christmas images to do.
Hey, no, that's really cool. Wait, you're putting out a
Yeah.
new one at Christmas, you said?
Yeah, November 3rd. My publisher, they had asked back in like I think it was like April or May. They were like, "Does anyone have any, Christmas or holiday books that you want to submit?" So I submitted it, and they were like, "Okay, your release date's November 3rd." And I'm like, "Okay." So I've basically spent all summer just editing these books, like between June and July. That's all I've been doing. And it was just like weird because I'm like editing a Christmas book in July. I'm like, I can't do this.
I mean, yeah.
But
Again, that multitasking thing. I was saying I'm not great at
Yes.
it, but sometimes you're forced to do it.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Hello,
No,
everybody.
it definitely was like being forced to do it.
Yeah, no, I kind of have this weird rhythm again, trying to release two series simultaneously, where in a normal day, or my ideal day, I should say, an ideal day, I will be writing on whatever the new book is in the morning, and then the afternoon we'll kind of bounce around between editing different books, be it sending the ones to betas or receiving stuff from editors, or doing some formatting. So all that kind of gets jumbled in the afternoon. So the morning is new stuff, the
Yeah.
afternoon is a free for all, and hopefully you get stuff done thing.
Yeah. I feel like I kind of did that. Like I did a lot of the edits during the day, like because I was awake and whatever. Because my prime writing time, like when I sit down, like after my kids go to bed and stuff, is like between 10 and 2 a.m. I always get like the best words out, like when it's really late for some reason. So like I use the editing time during the day, and then at night I would be like, okay, I got a new thing, I need to write it. So I'd write at night.
You are a night owl. I am not. I'm the opposite. It has
Oh
to be
yeah.
in the morning. Does it not get really spacey in the
Oh no,
afternoon?
I can't write in the morning. It always comes out jumbled.
So we're the opposite. Hey, that's fine. That's fine. Everybody
Yep.
has their time for everything. But yeah, no, there's another author here, A.K. Mulford, and she was saying she realized she was passionate going to become a full-time author when she would do kind of what you're doing, is once her kids were in bed, she would start writing, and
Yeah.
like will write in the wee hours of the morning and knock out her books.
Yeah.
At that time, I'm like, wow, I like sleep. Sleep might
Yeah,
not
no,
always
it's
like me,
weird.
but
Like
I
I
like
feel
sleep.
like I can write.
Yes.
It's so weird to like be able to write better at that time. But then like there's sometimes you'll wake up and look at it, you're like, what did I just write? But then at the same time, I feel like the words flow better. I don't know if it's because the house is quiet
Oh,
and
yes.
like
Quiet.
it's just like relaxing at that point at night. Like even if they're when they're in school during the day, it doesn't feel relaxing because I'm like stressing about getting them off the bus and like what if one of the nurses call or something like that. I feel like at night it's relaxing. Like everyone's asleep, the house is quiet, I can work.
Okay, so do you write with music in the background? Some authors love that or have to do it. I can't. So, oh God, no.
I need it. We're so often it's so funny.
Hey, no, that's cool.
I love having music. Like yeah, there was some music I actually like. If there's a song that really like drives a chapter, I will put that song on loop. Like I use YouTube as my back like for the background, and like I'll put it on like a loop over and over again until I'm done writing the chapter. Like if it helps me like get the chapter out, I will listen to it for like an hour or 2 hours, however long it takes me. I will listen to that song.
Hey, that works. That works. I just
Yeah,
watched
really
the
strange
series
process.
Stranger Things, the newest season, and talk about looping the same song, but it works.
It does. It really does.
Okay, so what is your song of the moment then? What is your song or
Oh man,
sound genre style that
there's like
inspired you?
yeah, I go back and forth because like when I'm like I was writing the YA with like the boy in the rock band, I was doing a lot of like old school like pop punk, like Simple Plan, Good Charlotte, some Papa Roach, things like that. And then like more recently with like the contemporaries, I have been doing more of like Forrest Black. I don't know if you've ever heard he sings a song called like Fall Into Me. I think it's what it was, and like just kind of uh, like more soft and mellow music. And then it was actually a few which we call it TikTok artists that just released some songs that I was using for that, and like Haley Mae Campbell, who she did the video where like her and her boyfriend or her and her friend were sitting in the car and they're in a band together, and she wrote a song for him, and at the end of the video they end up kissing.
Oh,
That song actually like really like took when I started writing the 2 Week Promise. That song was just going viral on TikTok, and that was like one of my repetitive songs that I listened to over and over and over again.
oh. I wonder
So
if you
like
can
it's
create.
completely all different genres.
I wonder if you can create a playlist saying and kind of saying, "Hey, these are the sounds to help me write this book."
Yeah, actually there was an author that I just read that just did that, like where she put it in the like the book, like
Oh,
in
that's
the ebook, and you could click on the link and go
cool.
to it and like listen to the music while you're, and I'm like, that is such a good idea.
I should do that.
Like I
I
love
have
that idea.
I have different playlists from
That would be cool with like fantasy though. You
yeah.
could do like the like all the instrumental, like that would be really cool to do with
Well,
fantasy.
well, the funny thing is, I like listening to music to get me in the mood of either to write
Oh yeah.
or the editing process or stuff like that. And but I can't do it when I'm actually writing. Even so, or regardless, I still have the playlist because I have a YouTube channel where this will be repurposed
Yeah.
next week. But on it has like different playlists for people that do kind of correlate of what I was listening to when I was writing. So, but it might surprise you, especially with my first series. I was really into metal at that time. So a lot of it is like metal about like changing into animals and stuff like that.
I feel like that
So
would work really well for fantasy though.
I thought so. I think so. But like yeah, so my other ones aren't maybe as metal forward, but I do have playlists for
Yeah.
my series, and I like that idea. Put it in the ebook. I might have to take this idea.
Yeah,
We can start a trend. Go do it.
I know, right? I was like, this is really cool. I'm like, okay, click play and then listen to it while you read.
I like that. No, I really do. So let me ask you. You mentioned earlier about publisher. So are you describe your publisher or how you got said publisher? Who do you go through?
Well, I was doing the normal querying thing last year and whatnot, and I was doing like a lot of agents, and then like the agents like I started like teetering off, like they like got all my rejections out and everything, and then I was like, let me look into some publishers because I was like, I mean, it doesn't hurt to try. So I found Bloodhound. I think it was through a Twitter post, Bloodhound Books in the UK, and I sent over my thing in the like I think it was like August or the beginning of September. And a couple weeks later, I get an email saying that they want to do a 3 book contract with me, and like we sat on it, we discussed it, and they were really really nice, and we went back and forth, and then finally like at the end of September or like I think it was around October, we were like, you know what, let's do this, and I signed with them, and they are like amazing. Like I've loved working with them. Like my editors have been really great. Like I said, the quality of this book is so nice, and like
Now
just
I now
everything
I want
about
to
it.
hold.
Like so, they've been so really nice to work with, and I've enjoyed it a lot.
That's so
I don't
cool.
know where it's gonna lead me, but I enjoy working with them so far.
Hey, I like that. We like good stories. Good stories. We prefer the good than the bad. So that's awesome. That's absolutely
Yes,
amazing.
yes.
And
I've heard some horror stories lately, so
I mean,
about other.
it's going to happen to someone,
So
and that's an unfortunate
yeah,
scenario. But I'm glad that you're having a good time so far. So, as working with your publishing house group, I'm true India, of course. I don't know these terms. Um,
yeah.
what do you need to do marketing wise for your book? I know a lot of these kind of hybrids or small publishing houses, you still have to do just as much as anybody else. Other times they'll help,
Yeah.
some of that load. So how is your partnership arranged? Because I do everything myself.
They do. They do a lot of like they do like the ads and stuff like that. Like they create all the like the marketing. Like I have on my Twitter, my banner, like they
Yeah.
create all of that, and they'll like post throughout the year like different sales, like if Amazon like puts it on sale, and they'll like randomly throughout the year post about the books. I basically with everything else, it's all on me. Like if I wanted to do like my own signing, like I'd have to do that myself, and like appearances and stuff like that. That's all me. But like mostly they do a lot of just like just hey, pre-order this book. Hey, this book's coming out. So it's like I feel like that's a lot with a lot of small publishers, and even like the big publishers. I feel like a lot now, like people are saying that it's all on the author to, market your book. So
Yeah,
I guess it's kind of
it
like,
sounds like that's the trend, that it's more and more where it would be nice to have, some help in theory. On the
Yeah.
other hand, having control over your own content is nice too, because you can make it the
Mm.
quality you want
Yes.
and represent the book, your
Yeah.
book baby, the way you want it to be represented. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm hoping as I go on, I'm hoping it'll get easier because I'll be like this was my first go at it and I had no idea what I was doing and I'm just like trying to just go along with whatever's come my way, but I'm hoping like as each book comes, I'm hoping it'll be easier.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, especially if, as you mentioned a little bit, I think, about potentially writing in romance is so different to me, so I have to wrap my head around. But writing other characters in the same
Yeah.
universe as your first book, so I guess that's still a romance series. And when you market a series, that always
Yeah.
helps. Not only sell the first book, but of everybody else. It all is really nice and helps each other.
Yeah.
So yeah, as more you get out there,
Yeah.
the better. Hopefully, the theory is the
Yeah.
better it will be. That's what
Yeah.
we all try to
Yeah.
aim for.
Like I do yeah, I do actually have I did write a like a, I guess what are they like companion novels when they're like the next book in like a little series. Like I did write a little one for like this one. I wrote the best friend story, but I don't know what I'm gonna do with it.
Hey, that's fine.
It is written, but I was kind of just seeing how this one did, and then maybe like sometime in the future I can release it. I don't know. I'll have to. I just kind of want to see what how well this one does before I. I mean, it's edited and it's there, but I guess we'll see what happens.
It's one of those, just there are those releases that do fantastic first time, and then there are the releases, especially like my first one, where you don't know what you're doing
Oh,
and you're gonna bubble along for a while.
yep,
But that doesn't have to say anything
yep,
about the quality of the book or its potential long term, because you can have something that maybe
yeah,
have a little bit of a rocky start because you're a new author and people don't know about you and you don't
yeah,
have a
yeah,
lot of
yeah,
content, and then in a couple years it just strikes gold. You never know.
yeah, exactly. So like that's why I'm like kind of holding on to it and seeing where where it ends up. But it's definitely there, and it definitely I want to release it. So I'm hoping in the future I can.
Well, let me ask you this, because this is interesting to me. And um, are you, or does your publishing house, group, place, I will come up with this word, are you trying to have audio? Because I know you mentioned paperback and ebook, and I can't remember if you said hardcover, but are you going to try to branch into the audio world? That's something that's new to me and the past.
They do they, yeah, no, they do have audiobooks through the publisher. I don't really haven't really gotten that far yet, but at first it's really, we got the paperback and the ebook, and then maybe eventually I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed because I would love to hear my book like it's not a movie, but at least it kind of comes to life when somebody's reading it. So like I got my fingers crossed that maybe one day.
Yeah. It's one of those things looking back, I kind of wish I tried to start that process earlier. On the other hand, I'm very happy with everybody so far. So,
Yeah.
but kind of again, it's one of those things is when you're releasing audio, I found out, which makes sense thinking about it, audio listeners are very different than people who like print, who are very different than people who
Yeah.
like ebooks.
Yeah.
Usually someone's going to have a preference and that's what they tend to stick with. It's not always the case, but it's, tend to stick with. So being a new to audio, it's like being a new author all over again. So it's that whole new
Yeah.
letting everybody know I'm an audio book author too.
Yeah. It must be really cool. Like I hope one day I can hear one of my books actually being read out. That'd be cool.
That would be cool. No, best best of luck, and I think I would advise it, but again, I'm early on and in my journey of that, and so far so good. So let me ask you. So you were saying that you have your Christmas or November release, which is a Christmassy
Yeah.
tale. Can we know a little bit about that
Yeah.
story? Are we allowed to know any of
Yeah,
it?
that one was yeah, I'll do a little I could do a little bit. It was actually inspired by a Wattpad prompt. They did one
Okay.
of like a short story contest
Hmm.
and I was like the characters, you know how when a character just doesn't want to leave your head? like I feel like they kept pushing inside of my head, like, you need to write more of us. So basically it's this girl who gets stuck going, like her mom puts her was like, you need to go on all these dates because you need to find a man. And
Hmm.
she's like adamant on her daughter, like getting the, the white picket fence, the babies and all that stuff. Cause like that's her sister. Her sister, she has the babies, she has the husband, she's got the white picket fence. Like she's this perfect, and well, the main character is she works at a bookstore. She is an author, but her mom doesn't think that being an author is an actual job.
Oh
So
no.
like she's kind of like pushing her. So she goes on these dates to like appease her mom, and she ends up what number 30, it used to be called Lucky Number 31, which date number 31 ends up being the pastor's son at the church that the mom goes to, and they end up hitting it off, and it's kind of like a slow burn, which is a very like it takes them a while to eventually like finally kiss, and but like they keep getting interrupted every time they try to kiss, so that's kind of made it
Okay.
kind of slow build relationship. But yeah, so she goes on all these dates and then she meets him, and there I had just put in like an ex-girlfriend of his that kind of brings in the tension a little bit.
Oh yeah.
So like it's a cute little Christmas romance. My editor really loved the best friend. She's like, "Oh my God, this friend is so funny and so much fun." And like she's like the comic relief to like this poor girl who's being like treated like, like dirt by her mother. So like it's a cute little Christmas romance where like they meet around Christmas time, and they end up going to each other's families' Christmases, and it's just like a sweet little almost Hallmarky type of
Yeah.
romance.
I
So it was a really cute book to write. I enjoyed it.
That's cool. Now, I'm really curious how this works for you because you are the second author that I'm aware of that I know of on
Yeah.
this platform that's doing a true Christmas themed release, in a sense. And I'm really curious of how that's going to work because I've heard from some authors, especially those in the romance side of it, when they do those holiday releases, people just love them. And it's one of those things I never
Yeah.
would have. I don't know why I would never have thought about that until listening to some of this commentary, and I was just like, "Huh, that's very smart." So I hope that does exceedingly
I
well to do. Sorry,
thank
what?
you. Yeah, I was just like, they were like, I was like, it doesn't. It's not. At first, it wasn't really technically a Christmas romance. It was just about the dating, but the holiday was in there.
Hmm.
So when I sent it to them, I spent all of July like throwing new like all this Christmas like in there just to
Christmas is
to
fun.
make it like really like nice, and like I feel like it really has like a holiday, like now it's like a complete holiday vibe, and I like
Aw.
love it because like I feel like Christmas is one of my favorite holidays, so like it worked out really nicely the way that it's now written. And my
Hmm.
editor was phenomenal for this one, so I was really excited to go through it and everything and reread the I get to actually reread it in the next week or two to make sure everything is good, and I'm so excited to go back. Because it like now that it's almost Christmas, now I can feel like it's more of a Christmassy vibe than when I was trying to do it in July.
Hmm. No, I will have to say it's that holiday because typically when especially on the TV show movie side of things, when I'm consuming
Yeah.
media, I tend to do the sci-fi, the fantasy stuff, and then maybe the horror stuff.
Yeah.
That's kind of genres I listen to. Christmas comes around. I mean,
Yeah.
right after Thanksgiving, all of a sudden Hallmark Channel comes on, and I'm that person who starts binging those cookie cutter movies, and I don't know why. It just makes me feel good, and I want more.
Yeah, that like feel good stuff. And I feel like that's what draws people is it's just we know it's cheesy and we know it's like kind of the same thing over and over again, but it's just that you get that like, that nice feeling when you watch it.
Yeah. Oh, that's so exciting. Okay, so you said November 3rd is your
Yes.
release? Oh, that's so exciting. Okay, I'll have to go check in
Yeah.
with you after the 3rd and see how that goes.
Yes. I'm
Well,
excited for that one, definitely.
yeah, well, since we're kind of rounding the end of the hour, wow, we already, it comes quick.
I know,
Um,
that was actually not bad. I like that.
yeah, because it's always nice when you have someone to talk to. I've done a couple of them kind
Yes.
of just off the cuff by myself solo. It's always nerve-wracking. I don't know why. It's not as bad as I think it is, but it always just sounds and feels nerve-wracking in the moment.
Yeah, because it's like you're
Talking to
talking to yourself. Like, I mean, sometimes I mumble to myself while I'm doing things, but it's different than talking to yourself in the on a live stream.
I always talk to my characters. I don't know yet. So
Exactly, right?
So let me, I always do this around this time, or I try to, if I remember. If anybody has any questions that's chiming in, post them down below. We'll be happy to answer them. And if you have anything at the moment to talk about, about your books that you want to mention about, like where people can follow you, your hashtags, this is the time to do that. And then I will take this video, repost it on YouTube next week, and put all your content and links below too.
Okay, yeah. I guess like the main ones that I'm on, like I said, Twitter. You can follow me. It's at Miss Gina, Jina. And on here, of course, you can follow me. I guess the username does show up for everybody. I use Instagram too, but of course because I use a different username. So I'm like, I can't remember which one I used, but yeah, the Twitter and this one is what I've been using the most at the moment.
Do you have a website or a landing page?
I do. It's a WordPress website, so maybe when you do the with all the links to it, that would be better because like I don't have like a domain, so like it's that long WordPress thing.
Oh, I'll put it down below. But yeah, okay, so you have your website. You can definitely find your books on Amazon, and it's exciting. Well, I'm so glad I got to talk to you today, and thrilled for your release. Happy release day. I hope it goes well.
Thank you.
And let me know
how. And good luck with your.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, yes. And in the meantime, I'm gonna get myself better so I don't sound as froggy.
Yes, feel better. Oh my goodness, I hope it passes very quickly. I hope it's just a quick, quick sickness for you.
Well, good luck with your rest of your release week. I'm calling it a week because I'm going to advise you to keep promoting your book.
Yeah.
Do it.
And, oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, if you ever want to do one of these again, just let me know.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.
Yeah, bye.